The information that I'm getting is the militias on both sides are now mustering their people. They are stationing supplies, intel, and surveillance assets on the ground. I don't know where this is going to lead, but typically when this happens, it's usually not a good thing. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And hopefully you're going to see this the day before election. We'll see, because we just got another strike on our YouTube channel over a 3-month-old video that has already been manually reviewed. I don't know what the hell's going on, but you know, this is to be expected. I guess we're down to go time here, and there's a lot of craziness going on, and I just want to touch on a lot of it here for you. You know, hopefully after the election, this will all calm down and we can go back to doing, you know, other things. But my bones are telling me that this is going to go on for quite some time.
The war on the West is no longer about men or women. It's about the ideological subversion of Western minds by foreign actors cloaked in a public relations-friendly outfit called feminism. Join the fight against the destabilization of our very civilization by reading Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism. Learn some inconvenient truths by clicking on the link in the description, because every time you do, a pansexual non-binary socialist cries.
First, I want to bring your attention to BLM and Antifa. Apparently, they're now using open violence, basically, to get their political ideas across, which is basically communism. It's looking like Antifa is basically the militant arm of BLM, even though BLM is now engaging in a lot more violence. Now, I know a lot of people in the National Guard across the United States. A lot of individuals I served with when they got done on active duty and they wanted to step down from that high tempo lifestyle, wanted to get married or just chill or work and try to, you know, have a separate career. They stayed in the Guard, but, you know, they went on to do other things in the civilian world. Well, word on the street is that there are several states that have mobilized their Guard and are sending them to various cities that are, you know, blue cities in their area, because we can expect a lot of shenanigans to go on, you know, in and after, you know, before, during, and after the election. On a side note, there are virtually every state is doing this to a certain degree. They're setting up a recall alert roster. I believe it's 6 hours. When they get the call, they have 6 hours to report to their armory and be ready to go. This is the equivalent of QRF, Quick Reaction Force, you know, in the Army, but, you know, it's at a Guard level. Now, I don't really know what their plans are in regards to what they're going to do on the ground. I do know that on several states have contacted their ASPs and are requesting CS and so forth munitions. It is what it is. Now, this is all open source stuff. None of it is secret. And a lot of it's rumor control. It may or may not be true. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've been doing a lot of videos in regards to upcoming civil war, zombie apocalypse, and basically the organization of BLM Antifa and some of the other severe left-leaning militias and organizations. I have been distributing those videos on Facebook across Facebook Gap, Parler, MeWe, and you know, sharing links to Patreon, PayPal, and let's see, 4 or 5 of the other sites that I have. So I communicate with a lot of these militia groups, not in a, everyday kind of manner, but in passing for the most part. And the information that I'm getting is the militias on both sides are now mustering their people. They are stationing supplies, intel, and surveillance assets on the ground. I don't know where this is going to lead, but typically when this happens, it's usually not a good thing. The active army or active military units will usually do this prior to any operation that they conduct, and there is no reason to believe that the militias are not following in suit, because a lot of the individuals in these militias are former military and police officers. So it just goes to show, or that, the right hand follows the left, and these two are pretty interchangeable. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope nothing, but I'm just telling you the rumor control is. All right, now, I've picked up on the media that the Trump supporters are now actively heckling Biden and his people. Apparently, Biden was run out of Texas in regards to a lot of the Trump caravans harassing his bus and so forth. I don't know if this is true or not. I was under the impression that Biden was flying everywhere he was going, or he was hiding for the most part and having other individuals campaign for him, i.e. his wife, Obama, and other individuals. I really find that reprehensible. For a guy who wants to be the president of the United States, should be able to handle his own business. But that's just my opinion. All right, now, there are more celebrities and some media outlets that are now actively coming out in support of Trump. There's been a lot of backlash. This is basically showing that here in America it's very polarized. It is now left versus right, and virtually anyone in the middle who's trying to stay neutral, we are now approaching a time where that's going to be virtually impossible. Now, the Democrats are in full damage control. All right, apparently this whole October surprise with Biden's son, with all the emails and all of the crazy crack pipe, underage girl photos and so forth, they are doing everything they can to downplay this, call it a farce, or at best, his son is sick and needs help, and they're playing the sympathy card. But when you are playing around with the fate of the most powerful nation on the planet, time for sympathy is over. This individual has basically made a stinking fortune on his family name and conducted himself as a complete and otherworldly a-hole. Apparently, there are young pictures that are supposedly one of Obama's children. There are pictures supposedly of a niece of Hunter Biden. These are all supposedly. I've seen a couple of these videos. They're very disturbing. Okay, I find it hard to believe that this individual is qualified to do anything to make any kind of money other than work in Orn Pay. Apparently, Hunter Biden had a channel on Orn Pay that had a lot of these so-called underage images on it. And it has been there for quite some time. We're talking years. And why the hell the FBI did not make any moves earlier on this reprehensible individual is beyond me. Okay. So we have this going on. It's been there for years. Okay. We have the laptops. We have the Department of Justice and the National Security Agency saying it is not Russian collusion, and these are legitimate, actual sources of criminal activity at the least, or some other, craziness that I really can't even go into here. Why they have not taken action is basically speaking volumes to how corrupt our legal system is here in the United States. Of course, it's just my opinion, but actions speak louder than words. Next, Project Veritas has been tearing up this whole voter fraud, voter scam bullshit that's going on across the nation. He's got people on camera admitting to screwing around with the mail-in ballots. We have individuals all over the country working for the post office, getting suspended, fired, and relieved of certain duties for throwing away or not turning in certain ballots that have been mailed around the country. Typically, we've always had a mail-in ballot system. It's called absentee voting. You call the city that you vote in and basically request the ballot, prove who you are, you fill out your ballot, you turn it back in. Thus, there's a chain of custody. Now, when you send out ballots willy-nilly to the four winds to people who may or may not still live in your state and may or may not still be sucking air, well, you notice how this is going to cause a large conundrum. And because of that, legal battles are now gearing up all across the nation in regards to the mail-in ballot fiasco that's going on. There are some states out there that seem to believe they're going to have 15 days after the election to find and turn in all of these ballots that were mailed in. And this is probably not going to fly because of what I just said prior, which is the lack of chain of custody and so forth. All right, now another thing that's going to be going on with this legal battles is the voter turnout. All right, apparently there's been a substantial amount of voter turnout for the mail-in ballots, and it has not gone the way the Democrats have liked. So I am envisioning some legal snake f***ery, that's just how I'm going to call it, I'm sorry for swearing, in regards to the legal battles for the upcoming election. Now, Biden is taking a play right out of the playbook of Hillary in 2016 and is actively insulting and attacking the Trump supporters out there by calling them ugly and punks and various other terms that I can't say here. Now, this really didn't work out that well for Hillary, and I have no idea why Biden is following suit other than the fact that Biden is mentally falling apart. All right, now let's just look at this objectively, shall we? We have the former Vice President of the United States who has been a member of the United States government at the highest levels for 50 years. Now, I'm rounding up to 50. It's like 47, 48. But, after 47 years, what's 3 more years? So, and he has accomplished nothing other than imprisoning more people since the 1960s than, I don't know, all of Europe combined over victimless crimes and bullshit. And somehow people out there believe that he's miraculously going to change his ways and fix everything that he didn't fix in 50 years on the ground. Santa Claus must exist then, since, he grants wishes and so forth, and people think Biden's going to do the same. Well, I don't think so. He can't public speak. He's been hiding a lot in his basement. He was ripped apart in the debates with Trump, even though the left and the media did everything they could to favor Biden. But apparently he is just so beyond the pale that he is beyond helping. And it's completely obvious he is just the Trojan horse to get Kamala Harris into office, and all kinds of craziness will ensue if that happens. So hopefully you guys will see this before the election. Like I said many times, I'm voting for Trump, not because I particularly personally like the man. I just like what he does for our economy, because if we continue to ship our intellectual knowledge overseas and our jobs, this country will cease to exist in short order, and it will come to an end in a tirade of blood and chaos.